Hi guys, this is Vineet, and in this video we will talk about how you can restore database backups in SQL Server. So before we proceed ahead, I would request you guys to please go ahead and subscribe to my channel and hit on the bell notification button and select all option to get all the notifications. Now let's come back to the topic, which is restoring database backups in SQL Server. So let me quickly take you to my notes, uh, which are not yet open. So let me see. Uh, so let's quickly open up notes. I've just opened in OneNote. So all right, let me take it to notes. All right, so there are few points to consider before you can perform a restore. So there is an option to take a tail log backup or tail of the log backup if you are using a full or bulk log recovery model. So before a restore, you need to take a tail log backup. So that is one of the options. Another option is if you want to restore an encrypted database. So in order to do that, you need access to a certificate or asymmetric key that is used to encrypt that database backup. And without that certificate or asymmetric key, you cannot restore that database. And it is necessary to save the certificate used to encrypt the database encryption key, as long as you are using it to encrypt the backups which you are trying to restore. And one more thing, if you're restoring an older version of the database to a newer version of SQL Server, that database gets upgraded to a newer version. So if you try to do it in a reverse way, like if you want to take backup from the, if you want to take backup from the just restored backup into the new version of SQL Server, if you take a backup, that backup cannot be restored onto a previous version of SQL Server. So once database backup is restored to a new version, it upgrades to a new version. And once you again take backup from that database, it cannot be restored again back on the older version. Now here we will cover some of the demos. So let's go through one of the demos, which is to restore a full database backup, which we'll cover in this video. So let's quickly go to the SQL Server. And before that, I'm in the location where SQL Server backups are stored. This is the default location of my SQL Server backups. You may open the same link, but make sure you are selecting your instance accordingly, depending on the version of SQL Server installed on your machine. So here we have Northwind database, which I'm deleting right now. So I've just deleted Northwind database backup. So SQL Server is open for us. Let's connect to the instance. So under that, you can expand the databases. Here you can see Northwind database is expanded. And let's try to do a restore quickly. So if you select restore, under the list you will see under the list of sources, under the database you see a Northwind database. So the grid below provides a backup history. So it is saying to us that a full backup was taken. Although we have deleted the database, the actual file from the location, but yeah, the history does exist. So you need to remove that database history. So let's quickly go ahead and remove that database history. So what I will do, I will remove the database history for Northwind database. So let me check what's the stored procedure used for removing the database history. So maybe it's sp delete database history. No, that's not the stored procedure. So let me quickly check out. In the meantime, you can also check online. So yeah, I found out. So it's sp delete database backup history is the stored procedure which you can use to delete the backup history. All right, and along with that, you need to supply the database name, which are parameter. So here we are using the database name of Northwind. And guys, please make sure that you are performing these tests in test environment. Do not use this test in production environment. So let's select the MSDB because otherwise the stored procedure is in MSDB database, so you need to select the database accordingly. So once database is selected, you can execute the store procedure. It will clear out the backup history. Now again, if you go to a restore window, it will not show us the Northwind in the list because the Northwind database backup history is now removed. All right. Now what we'll do, Northwind database is here. What we'll do, we will again take a full database backup of this database. So right click on that database, do a task, perform a backup. We're taking a full backup. Recovery model for the database is full, and we are storing it in the default location with the northwind.back as the database file name for the backup. Let's take the backup. Backup is completed. Let's verify file exists. Yeah, backup is just taken right now. It's a full backup. Now let's try to delete this database. Let me delete this database as we've already taken the database backup. Let's delete it. So I'm dropping this database. So once you try to delete the database, there's an option at the bottom, delete backup and restore history information for databases. I don't want to do that. Database is deleted, but yeah, I want to keep the backup and restore history information for databases. So let's click OK. Database is removed, but history information is still kept. So let's go to restore databases, and databases, if I select Northwind, it will give me the history that a full database backup was taken, and it can be restored using this option as well. So one of the option is this. Another option to restore is, and by the way, this information comes from the MSDB database, just an FYI. Another option is to, you can restore a backup from device. You can click on the ellipsis icon and you can select a file option. Other options can be URL if you want to restore a database from Azure Blob Containers. Another option could be tape. If a tape device is installed on your machine and you want to restore from that. For now, let's select the file option and click on the add button. Select the Northwind backup file, click OK. Now it is showing us that a full backup is available in that file. Let's go back to the ellipsis button. You can check the content of this file by using the contents button as well. What kind of backup does it contain? It will list all the backups taken under that file. Give me a moment, guys. Alright guys, so we have just seen the contents of the database file. It contains a full backup. So let's cancel this out. You can add any additional backups or files that you want to restore, but in our case we just have one file. So let's leave it till that. You can remove this option as well. Use the remove button. For now we are using this file option and we are restoring the Northwind database. Now let's come back to the destination options. Under destination option, you can specify which database do you want this backup to restore to. We are defaulting it to Northwind database. Otherwise, you can rename it like TestDB. This database will restore to TestDB, but yeah, we are going with Northwind, so we are selecting this Northwind. Then it specifies the restore point. Where do you want to restore it? We want to restore to the last backup taken. Time is given. Otherwise, you can select the timeline if you want to specify any specific time, or you can specify as per the last backup taken. So we have only taken a full database backup for this database, so only this option is available. Yeah, we can store it to some earlier time as well. That can also be done. But other type of backups are not there. Transaction log backup is not there. Differential database backup is not there. Tail log backup is not there. So yeah, guys, we are fine. So let's explore the other options of this restore dialog box. So there's a file section. Under that, it is telling when it will restore the database backup, where will it write the files. So it is writing to a default location. Otherwise, you can specify a different location if you want to restore the database backup to a different location altogether. So we are going with the default location. So unselect this option. Now go back to the option section. Here we will discuss some of the options. So there are restore options section first. Under that, there's an option to overwrite an existing database with replace option. So basically overwrites an existing database. Another option is with keep replication. So it will keep the replication setting intact on the database. It will not remove the replication settings. Otherwise, if you restore a database, it removes the replication setting. Checking this checkbox preserve the replication settings with keep replication option, equivalent to using the with keep replication option. Third is to restrict access to a restored database with restricted user. So if you want to restrict the database access during the restore operation to a specific user, you can restrict that option. Now, there are various kind of recovery states available. Let's discuss them by one. So first one is restore with recovery, which is the default behavior. So this is a default behavior that leaves database ready for use by rolling back the uncommitted transaction. So if we do this kind of restore, it will roll back any uncommitted transaction and restore the database backup. And no additional transaction log can be restored when we select this option. And we generally chose this option when we are restoring all the necessary backups right now. And next option is restore with no recovery. So we select this option, it leaves the database in a non-operational state and it does not roll back the uncommitted transaction. Additional transaction log can be restored in this mode and the database can't be used until it is recovered. So until the database is fully recovered, it cannot be used if we are using this option to restore. The third option is restored with standby. So what it does, it stores the uncommitted transaction in this particular file, which is also known as the standby file, so that the recovery effects can be reverted later on. Now the tail log backup section is given below, but it's not highlighted because there are no uncommitted changes on the database. Otherwise, if there are uncommitted changes, yeah, there's an option you can take a tail log backup before performing a restore. You can check this option, and to leave the database in restoring state, you can use the with no recovery option. We had discussed about this option in one of our early videos, and there's an also checkbox server connections. So in our case, database does not exist. We have deleted the database, so there are no connections existing to that database. So that's why this option is grayed out, and therefore cannot check this option. And the last option is to perform prompt before restoring each backup. If you wish to be prompted between each restore operation, and this is not necessary unless database is large and we wish to monitor the status of the restore operation. You don't want that. All of the options are looking good. Let's go ahead and not restore with standby. We are restoring with recovery. So we are doing okay on that. So database is restored. Now we can see Northwind database is coming in the list. We can expand that. We can expand the table section to see, yeah, database is there. So yeah, we have successfully performed a restore operation on Northwind database. And we are done with this video for now. Guys, if you really like this video, please hit on the like button and do post your comments. We really like your comments, and do let us know if you want to make us any video related to SQL Server on any topic. Do let us know via your comments, and also share this video with your friends and subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon. Select all notifications to get notifications regarding my future videos. There will be many more videos that are upcoming under the backup and restore sections as well. Then we will move on to altogether to a different topic. So stay in tune with us. And I thank you once again so much for your time. And you have a wonderful day ahead.